Ho, 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 ho. Hey, everybody. Well, flying by the seat of my pants, as always. What else is new? I hope you're all well. Happy New Year. I hope you are all recovered from a night of debauchery or whatever the heck you did. Me and my wife did nothing, and we loved it. It was great. So today, a little bit not sure what I'm going to draw. Although I do have this page up here that you can see. We'll get to that in a second. Actually, let's look at some stuff first. Let's take a look. I got a book that I got on a whim from Kickstarter, and it is The Art of Nikolay Georgiev, I guess is how you say the name. Let me move this back a little bit so we can take a look at the whole thing. It is insanely windy outside right now here in Los Angeles. So if you hear the windows rattling, you'll know why. Let's take a look at this. This is really cool. So this guy is like, I guess, a concept artist. And I don't really know much about him. Traditional artist, born and raised in Bulgaria. Watched Ninja Turtles, Transformers, all that stuff. Played with action figures. Yep. Yeah, it's professional concept art, games, and artistic communities surrounding them providing this. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, he's like a concept artist. And there's some cool stuff in here. Check this out. Let me move this over so you can actually see. Hey, what's up, man? Raymar Brunson, man. Everybody should go and check out Ghost Man, Raymar's book at Cosmic Lion Productions. We did an episode together. It's pretty great. It's one of the best character designs I've seen in a long time. So yeah, this guy, like, it looks like he's drawing on all sorts of medium. He's got some sort of like tan paper here that he's drawing on, where you draw on like a gray or a tan, and then you can use like a white colored pencil to bring out highlights. And here it looks like he's working with some like watercolor or gouache to create these aliens. Really fun stuff. He's putting together some really cool things. It's like organic looking mech. I really love it. It's got like fingers and toes. I've done something similar to this in my heavy metal stuff with these like finger, hand, leg things. I think that I actually even got it from Aeon Flux. There was an episode where there was like the good Aeon Fluxes where it was silent. There's some episodes with some sort of alien thing in it. This is really cool. Reminds me of Dave Johnson a little bit here. So he's got cool monsters, and then this reminds me of William Stout's inkwork, actually. Lots of cool monsters. And then get into the character design things where he's doing like a million different little heads and stuff here. This is great. Some of this stuff is almost like Kim Jong-ji. I think it's something that I need to pay attention to also is like, changing the angle of heads and things and not having everything so straight on. And I don't even mean like 3/4. I mean 3/4 and a tilt up like this one. So it's a tough angle to draw sometimes. Although I did nail it this week on a page. There needed to be an insert panel on a page I'm working on, and the person who's helping me kind of lay it out had already sent me the layouts, and they needed this extra panel, so I just laid out this one, and I wanted it to look different from the rest of the panels, so I kind of did one of those upshots like that. Kind of got it on the first try, which is always a good sign when you're not using any reference. These are cool. So sort of like, yeah, Brunson. This is cool stuff. And I totally just got it on a whim. It like popped up, and I was like, I've never heard of this guy before. But it's by the book is from is it called Superani or whatever. Yeah, Superani. So it's like I don't know if they're an American company or a Korean company, but Kim Jong-ji was like one of the main people. I think they're based here because I think they have some sort of like classes and stuff in here in Southern California you can take and go to. But yeah, this is really cool. And then gets into this like wow, look at that mask. What the heck? Yeah, this is inspiring stuff if you are into world building and like cyberpunk and fantasy. Just some really wild, great stuff. I love that. And then he gets into like this other section, which is really cool too, where he starts doing these mechs. Half of these things feel like they're, oh, look at that, Akira homage in watercolor or gouache. A lot of these things feel like they probably already are bopping around Boston Scientific, right? And I like how it's so organic. You know, this is a suit that he's doing, and this is like some sort of alien thing. And if you kind of imagine combining it, like these arms are almost ape-like, or like the land striders from the Dark Crystal, like stilt legs, really cool. So it kind of goes through the process of how he creates these, and see how he's throwing down these like watercolor blotches, and then they're just shapes. I'm sure that he has something in mind when he's throwing the shapes down, obviously, but then he sort of builds the line work within it, which I thought was very interesting because, you know, in character design, the first thing you got to think about is the silhouette, right? So here you go. Mech tutorial. So these are basic thumbnails. It does, okay. When doing thumbnails, I almost never draw orthographic view. Instead, I always try to capture a pose, a three-dimensional angle in the thumbnails, even if they're entirely abstract. The reason for this is simple. The way I condition myself to look for any three-dimensional shapes, overlaps, and sense of perspective when I later interpret the thumbnails and see the interior breakup. And I only choose a few keywords to keep myself in a somewhat narrow frame of mind. Submersible, deep sea, science, explore, grab, release, carry, record. This is actually really something that's super helpful. That I know Jeff Johnson once told me about creating like a scene for a comic, and when you know where it's taking place, and the environment that you are in, you sort of make a list of things that in your mind immediately come to mind about what that environment would have and things that you would see, and then try to like just internalize that. You don't have to add all of it. You internalize it and you start to add some of those things. I think it's just to give you a pause and to give you something to sort of focus on. Identification and silhouette, okay? And then this step is your first confirmation of whether your abstract planning was successful or not. With a small brush and using a marginally darker tone or water-based brush pen with light gray, roughly sketch in your design elements, indicate, don't explain. And don't go too far with this so that you don't tire or bruise the paper too much. That's with this one here. So no big washes, you're just doing a quick little sketch. And the final line work, what does he do? I'm not sure what he's drawing with here, but everything is very, very clear. It almost looks like tablet at this point, but I'm not sure. Talking about watercolor techniques, that's pretty darn cool. It's always good to know. And rendering. Okay, so he goes in and teaches you the watercolor techniques to rendering, and then goes in and renders it. Background frame, boom. Add some rust, final touches, and there it is. There's your mech. That's pretty cool. Great way to walk through it. And this is, I think, like designing like a figure for Dungeons and Dragons, like a little mini figure. And doing the painting until it goes to designing it, different helmets and stuff, and then they go into making the 3D model, and then the final thing, and then just a bunch of process sketches, things like that. This is just great stuff to look at, you know, getting these shapes, learning how to build these things. I had to just draw like wild machines all day, I might go a little crazy. That's not really my bag, but you need to know it if you're going to be doing stuff like this, you know, if you're building worlds. Really cool. Super cool. Here we go. Skull designs. Yep. Or skull angles. That's why I got something like this. I also have a dog skull just like that over on my bookshelf. Not real. Not a real one. Yeah, this is just so cool. I mean, somebody knows what they're doing. Lot to soak up here. You can spend quite a bit of time on this one. So yeah, I take it that you can probably go to Superani and find this book. Oh, Charette is who makes it. This actually came from France, I think. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, I also popped into the shop this week. As you know, I don't do it as often as I would like to, or probably should. But I had some stuff to pick up. First on the plate here is the final issue of Keenan Marshall Keller and Alex Delaney's Vengeance is for the Living. I cannot wait to read this. The first 3 issues were amazing, and this one it's It's a thick puppy. Lots of cool stuff going on in here. And I love, we did an episode together too. They talk about how a lot of different cartoonists show up in here as characters, not named, but like here, Andrew McLean's getting blown to pieces, and there's Eddie P, and just a lot of people, like Ben Mara maybe. It's cool. So that is exciting. And then I got Ryan Brown's work in the new in the Minor Threats world, which I've not read a whole lot of Minor Threats stuff, but Ryan Brown and I feel like have very similar taste. We've become pretty good friends. He's a guy made entirely out of shit. That is really awesome. So if you're a fly, it's probably the guy that you want to hang around with. Looks like there's a squirrel controlling this guy. Just bonkers. I love it. Just really weird stuff. Look at this guy. What? And it says that there's like colors are by Ryan Brown and Kevin Kipstein. And Ryan's, I'm not sure how that's delineated, but Ryan's color palette's always amazing. Like, I can totally tell that this eye is a Ryan Brown eye, just the colors that he picks. And then let's take a look at this. Finally got a hold of a copy of Godzilla Rivals by my boys, Dave Baker and Kevin Catalan. And so proud of these guys. Check this stuff out. Man, Kevin has just like been doing everybody proud. And Dave too. Have you seen his book, Mary Tyler Moorhawk, make like every single best of 2024 list out there? I have yet to read it because I told him I want to grab it when I see him at a convention. Last time we were at a party together, and I have not seen him since. I've been pretty heads down. We haven't crossed paths at shows. I mean, we've crossed paths not at shows, but look at these faces. These are great. Kevin's manga influence on his sleeve, but it's totally Kevin. And, he's a traditional artist, so all these textures and things. Hey, what's up, Brandon? Brandon Hayes, man. I showed off your book last week on the live stream. And then, so what I really kind of love about this, by doing like a quick flip, is it looks like, you get into the story, which I'm sure is great. I haven't read it yet, but Dave knows how to write a good story. He'll get you. And then there seems to be like these huge battle scenes that are just like, go Kevin, go. You missed it, Brandon, me showing off the book. This one, everybody, look up Brandon Hayes and grab a copy. In fact, I think in last week's episode, I put a link to it, I think, in there. And if not, I'll put another one in this week so people can grab it. But man, yeah, just like all out action. Look at that. So, rumor has it, I might be, I do publish these live. I do publish the lives. It should be on there. It should be like maybe in a, if you go back, it should be in a playlist, all these things. That's a really great one where he's coming out of the water. Look at that. So anyway, I rumor has it I will be doing possibly a Godzilla cover in the future in 2025. And stop yelling at me in all caps, man. I, kind of secured the gig with some pinups that I did just for the fun of it. And I'm very much a texture guy. So my Godzilla, his skin is made with burlap and sponge, and then underdrawing of some scales and stuff. And Kevin went in and just like drew all the scales like a madman. But this book is like, man, even if I didn't know these guys, this is one that I'd probably pick up because it just looks like a ton of fun. I really like what they're coming out with, the Godzilla stuff. Look at this. Godzilla versus America. Godzilla versus Chicago. Man, I would have loved to have written and drawn a Godzilla versus Los Angeles book. You can just look out my window and have him crush Universal Studios or whatever. And then it's even got Kevin's turnarounds in here. Awesome. I guess they probably won't be. Yeah, Kevin drew the entire book. Yep. I didn't. They won't be probably collecting it, because it's a Godzilla Rivals, unless they collect all the Rivals together, and then you'd have all these different artists, no room to show off all the cool stuff. Man, this is just so good. Look at how like big of a base they have here, like to hold this weight, like huge thighs. That's just awesome. And then you got this extra cover here by Jay Gonzo. Jay's doing a lot of stuff, covers and stuff for IDW. He did those like Luchador Ninja Turtle variants. Those are awesome. Jay's a cool dude. I'm pretty sure he's got an actual book coming out too, a Ninja Turtle book. But yeah, and then here, Vincenzo Federici. Great line work on that. And then my other boys over here, you got Andrew McLean and Jake Smith doing Godzilla. And then, of course, they're doing the Tom Scioli Monster Piece Theater, which has been a lot of fun so far. This one was a lot of fun, too. If you haven't, I guess it's getting collected in a hardcover edition. That's awesome. Great. All right. So let's see here. So I have things set up a little bit differently today because this is a page that I've been sitting on for far too long, far too many months, because I haven't been sure how to tackle it, and I kind of psyched myself out. And everything that threw me off was actually this drawing right here. And if I can just get rid of that, I think I can make it work. So this is the left turn the three-headed pigman is going to be making. So we've if you are on my Patreon, you've been able to read the first 7 pages. This will be page 8. We're going to take a turn and we're going to learn about his origins here. Where is here's the script. It's a big sucker. So the thing is I have been hung up on this page for so long. It's ridiculous. This is going to be a 64-page issue. The reason that this thing is so thick is because I basically, if it's a page, I end it so I don't get confused, you know. Then the next page is like 57. That's the entire thing. So anyway, let's see, where am I? I'm on page. Oh my God. So I'm at an angle here because these pages are huge. And where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is actually page 8. And it says that I wrote bird's eye wide shot of the circus with a train in the background and a small town on a prairie, tents, games, food stands, freak show. So, and then text is 1932. So, obviously, because I wrote this, I don't have to really stick to the the panel count narrative that I wrote. I can change it up if I want. I'm the creator, whatever. But, I kind of thought it out in my head as I was writing it, and it made sense. And it still makes sense. One thing that I think I wanted to try to do was have this sort of, as we go from like the cosmic Jack Kirby-esque, Silver Surfer, super weird intro with Three-Headed Pigman. Now we're getting into his origin, I think, and it takes place at the circus. I wanted to have this like circus-esque design border go around the whole thing, and I don't have it on this page. That bothers me. However, it's something that I can still add. The other thing is that these large pages, so these pages are huge. I'll show you. This is a cover that I did not too long ago on here for a now dead pitch that I did. But this is 19 by 34. So this is a big one. But I like how I can just use a brush and get in with all these details that you couldn't normally do with 11 by 17 paper. And because it's just the brush, you're not going to get that super fine line all the time. When you shrink it down to like the almost manga size that I'm going to be going for with Three-Headed Pigman, it really tightens everything up. Here is the last page that I did for Three-Headed Pigman. You can see that it's very large. In fact, let me show it you next to a regular sized page. It's really hard to show in here, but regular size page, this size page, it's quite a bit bigger. And part of me was thinking, okay, I did the cosmic stuff on the large paper. It looks really great when I shrink it down. I printed up some samples. They look really, really, really good. And then I was like, gosh, first of all, I psyched myself out on this page, and to the detriment of my poor Patreon folk. I mean, I've been posting cool stuff on there and getting commissions out and things like that. But part of the attraction part of the allure that I set out was to be able to read Three-Headed Pigman when it's being created. And of course, now I've taken a few months to go from the first pages to this one. And that's just, to them, it's not acceptable. To me, it's not acceptable. And I apologize to no end for getting stuck. I just got stuck. And I was thinking that maybe just going back to drawing on regular sized pages would speed things up. And it would. It really would. But I think after careful consideration that I want to continue doing it on this size paper. So that page said, let me get it back. Let's just take a look at how I kind of broke this down. So you got bird's eye wide shot of a circus with a train in the background and a small town on the prairie. Tents, games, food stands, freak show. The train in the background doesn't matter for the story. I don't know why I specified that, but so basically here we got 1932. We've got this big top, another tent here. I looked at pictures from the circus in the 1920s and 30s as it would come through town. There's like a railroad over here. They're sort of have unloaded these carts and cars. There's still horses over here kind of drawing these things. It's 1932. It's rural. People would have still kind of maybe ridden horses in really rural areas. This main entrance, you got these stands and things. So this is kind of like the midway, I guess you would say. I should probably put like a freak show over here. It's pretty important to the story. But then all these cars, I'm going to have all these 30s farm trucks, and there'd be Model Ts and things around here. So we're just in the Dust Bowl era. And then panel 2, it says, push in on a man and his kids who are running off excitedly with a dark space between two tents. Sven's strongest man alive banner hangs on one of the tents. Man looks perplexed. So it says, narrator says, Sven Skrodsev wasn't a bad man. And then the kids say, Papa, can we play the shooting game? And the guy says, sure, here's a nickel. Make it last the whole day. I need to find your mother. So I want this guy to be kind of like drunk and being bothered by his kids. And this is just a poor drawing. Everybody else, I think, works pretty well, especially this clown, I think, works really well. And this lady walking away, some of these kids, trying to get like rural 30s fashion going on. But I think he needs to be a little bit more Eisner-y, like the way that his body is sort of more fluid, because he's drunk, and this is just, I don't know what I was thinking when I drew this. It's just bad. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then it says, push in further on the dark space. Man in foreground scratches his head and looks off panel left. So it doesn't have to be panel left. I didn't get the dark space. This is kind of like the dark space here, I guess. Because I was kind of pushing in on this poster, this hanging poster for the strongest man alive, right? This is Sven Skrodsev. He is not to give anything too much away, but he's very important to the creation of Three-Headed Pig Man. He is the strongest man alive. And so you got this guy kind of scratching his head. Again, I'm not super happy with the drawing here. That something's up with the hand. But then it says, narrator. He believed in justice and fairness. He loved and was loved, maybe too much. And then you push in more. It says, between the tents, where a side flap can be seen. Panel right with soft moaning coming from inside. So it's actually like a split in the side of the tent here. These two panels have been stitched together, and out of like the stitch at the side of the tent, you start to hear this moaning. And then it says, swing closer in on the flap, and the moaning gets louder. And it says, no, Sven Skrodsev wasn't a bad man. And then it's this one that says, but he wasn't a good man either. And we get in even closer, and this moan comes out. Even more. I'm not sure if well, anyway. Not sure what I was even going to say at this point in the day. Not a good sign for a Tuesday, right? So I think what I'm going to just do is to keep this project moving. You know, it's comics. You draw it, and if you didn't get it the way that you want it, you get it next time, right? You just keep moving ahead. I have been in a holding pattern for far too long, so let's get going with the Three-Headed Pigman page, shall we? So I'm going to start probably with this one here, right in the middle, because it's a good one for you all to see. Oh, there was also a quote that I wanted to read that I thought was pretty great. There is a comics journal. There's a comics journal article that just came out that David Moses wrote. David's an awesome guy. In fact, the Berserk commission that I did a few weeks ago is for him. He conducted an interview with Michel Fife on the death of Copra, right? And there was this really great intro that he said, as a cartoonist, I often find myself wondering what makes comics so special. There are theories aplenty about form and technique, explorations into the mechanics of the craft, what rules to follow and which to break. We often praise transgressive art, but transgression against establishment standards don't always work. A comic has to have another force present to guide those transgressions towards a connection with the reader, right? Okay, that's absolutely right. And then he goes on to say, readers of indie comics want something that has been cared for from root to branch, a developed individual cartooning style, characters who are familiar but always surprising, and stakes that don't reset at zero because of shareholder involvement. They want something unique but accessible, professional grade yet raw, a familiar reflection of the world around them, but also an escape from it. He goes on to say, what they want is Copra. And you know what? He's right. I do want Copra. I also completely agree with readers of indie comics and what they're into. Because I've seen some... what's up, James? Where are we at here? James Coates in the house. Yeah, you read that interview? Yeah, the interview itself, it's I'm sure it's hard to conduct an interview like that. It seems like it was probably over email, which is fine. But whatever Michel is doing with the end of Copra there, I have a feeling that, there's the possibility that it's not actually the end of Copra. So when he goes on to ask him what's next and stuff like that, he kind of dodges it. It's a hard thing to do when you're trying to do, a kayfabe thing and say this is the end when it's, in your mind, really it's not. Or I could be wrong. Maybe it is the end. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's exactly what what I feel in my heart when I think about doing Three-Headed Pigman. And, in that interview, Michel goes on to talking about how doing such a long story really allowed him the chance to develop these characters that survived and things like that. And there's a lot that's going to go on in this book that's like that. And hopefully, I pack a lot into this first, what did I say, 64 page issue. But hopefully there's a lot more to come. I just got to get to the end. And the thing is with that many pages, if I'm only doing one a week, because this is huge size. That means it's the first issue is not even going to come out until 2026, and that's also not okay with me. So basically, the way that I had that script written, I have a huge first panel where we establish the time, we establish where, and we start narratively describing this person that we don't see yet, although we kind of do. We start pushing in, closer and closer as we go. So we got this, big, huge panel on top, showing the big top, showing the world. It's gonna some scale issues I got to deal with anyway, and then getting closer to the world, and then in on this character and pushing into really with the sound effects, feeling like the sounds are something you could touch. That's why they're sort of in 3D, and that is kind of stolen directly from Matt Wisniewski, who often shows up on this stream. I don't know if you're there, Matt, or not, but you inspired me to do these sort of word balloon or the automatopoeia that kind of physically appears. Let's see. Frank said, I feel you. I have a 7-issue comic I'm making, but it makes zero sense to adhere to a 22-page format. Most first issues need a 2-part release anyway, and so it's just a 56-page first issue. Right, and it's taking forever. Yeah, I mean, it'll do that. I wish that I had something set up where I could just work on this full time, but I'm doing other comics that are paying the bills, and it's just not feasible for me to work on it full time yet. After the first issue's out, though, it's going to explode, and then everything's going to be fine. Don't worry, everybody. That's the plan anyway. It's good to plan for ultimate success. So this week I've got to draw and let's see here. I have to pencil 3 issues of a book that I'm working on. I have to finish the last 2 pages of the big epic this week, which I'm very close. Just like I said, 2 pages. Then I got to color the whole thing, but that's another thing altogether. Coloring is much easier, in my opinion, or the way I do it anyway. And then I have to lay out 22 pages of another book that I need to get going on. And finally, I need to do a story. I had a meeting yesterday for storyboards for a short film with the director. He is dating a woman who was an actress in The Brutalist, and so the Golden Globes were the other day. So the production put them up at the Chateau Marmont on Sunset in Hollywood, and so I went and met them there. We had coffee next to Ray Fiennes. That's always a very weird thing in this town. So yeah, going to do that. And then I got an email from another person asking if I was available for storyboards to do. Oh, great. You can see my skull. That's wonderful. To do some storyboards for some commercials. And you always say yes. So I'm a busy boy this week. And that's why I appreciate this time to be able to. Oh, and I've cover to finish this week too. So I appreciate this time to be able to work on other things. There was a Patreon commission that came due this week, and so I reached out to the commissioner, and next week I'm going to be doing that one. So that's going to be fun. All right, so it's been a while since I have done this book, and I had been using my favorite brush on the first pages. So I want to try to keep things consistent. I've also destroyed all my favorite brushes. So I'm going to take a look here and see if I have any new ones that I can take out. I just straightened up my table today, and it's already a mess again. Man, I thought I had a new one here. Well, I'll tell you what. This one looks like it's going to work. So I'm going to use this one. This isn't exactly my favorite one. This was my favorite brush. I found out that I have a couple left. They discontinued making them in Japan. And this is as close as it gets. This is where is it? This is my favorite brush. You can see eventually it'll start to fray and split, which is fine for other things, but it's because I dipped it too far and ink got into the whatever that's called, and now it's toast. But I found a couple more that I had in reserve, and of course now I can't find it. But this is the closest one I've been able to find to it, and it looks like I just have to keep it wet for it not to split. And if it splits, well, then I got to figure something else out entirely. Am I putting my head right on this thing? Yes, I am. Wait, is this it? No, that's oh, here we go. Here it is. Here you are. Sweet, sweet baby. This brush is just the best brush I've ever found. It's called like a face brush or something like that. But the company, I've had so many people try to find it for me, and it's just, they don't make it anymore in Japan. They were cheap, but look at that tip. It's beautiful. And when you get it, first off, it's very, they do something to it to make it real tight. All right, so I'm going to ink I'm just going to be able to probably ink this panel, and then I'm going to have to go because, as you just heard, I've got 10 million things to do. And if I don't limit myself, I will just keep working on this, and this isn't what needs to be priority this very second. So let's just go. By the way, if you know what this brush is and you find more of them anywhere, please let me know. It's amazing. All right, so get my ink here. So I use a different ink than I use in my refillable brushes. That I use the Koh-i-Noor Ultra Draw, the Rapidograph ink, and in this one I use it's called Eon Vortex. Just in case you wanted to know. And let's see, I'm not sure how to treat this actually, because I almost dipped it all the way to the thing in one go, man. Because this is actually supposed to be like a sideshow painting, and I can't really do like a I have to do the line work on it. I can't really do like straight painting the way that this book is. When you first start using a new brush like this, it doesn't want to, it never wants to behave. It wants to go dry brush right away. It doesn't want to soak up the ink. This paper is so big that I can't lay it flat on my table. It has to be at an angle, which is why I've repositioned things today. Has anybody picked up any interesting books this week at all? Snagged anything interesting? Found anything new out? I ordered some nibs off of that what is it, pen and ink or something site, brush and ink. I don't know, paper and ink and brush and whatever, where you can get a bunch of like odd nibs and it's interesting things to play around with. And I lit one of my one of my deleter nibs on fire this week. That it was giving me trouble, not having any flow, and sure enough, it immediately started flowing. So the light your nib on fire thing is totally legit. I mean, that's pretty much like a young pyro Chris move. If it doesn't work, light it on fire and see what works. That wasn't a pyro. Maybe a G.I. Joe guy once in a while. All right, I think that works. I think the best way to probably deal with this guy when it's going to end up being like the poster is just to oh no. Oh, this is splitting already. I mean, I can use it to my advantage. Is just to kind of maybe do a color hold on it. This book is only cream paper, dark blue line work, and hot pink and neon green. So I can do color holds. There's only a few tricks you can do. You can do color holds. You can do like straight up coloring. And you can do like I'll put some like screen tones on it, and then the screen tones also have to be in those colors. So I can do color holds on the screen tones. Ooh, got a little out of control there. So I guess technically this is the first time you see this character, although it doesn't look exactly like him since it is like a painting. I also did I got a commission right before Christmas from somebody who asked me to do a drawing of her husband, who is a fan of my work, and their cat. And you don't get the chance to do a lot of likeness. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. But she commissioned me to do two, one in color and one in black and white. And I finished the color one yesterday. So now I got to work on the black and white one. All this stuff in the times that I'm not doing the storyboards or paid comics gigs. So yeah, when I don't have like a commission or want to switch things up, I think that I'm going to be using this time to sort of work on these three-headed pigman pages. because they just gotta get done, you know? And then those who are members of my Patreon will be able to read it every time I finish a page. So if you want to read the story, even though I just read you part of the script for this one, maybe consider hopping on that old Patreon of mine, because I think that it's worth it. All right, let's see here. Oh, I did an interview with Matt Sardo and Jamie Jones last week, I guess. And Jamie was talking about how crazy I was on this thing for not using any white media to do like the stars and stuff that have shown up in the first few pages. And that is a sentiment that I'm getting quite a bit. When I was at Comic-Con, Daniel Warren Johnson stopped by and was looking at the pages. And he's like, why are you doing this? Why are you killing yourself like this? And I was like, well, because, after this is over, I want, art buyers to buy these things. There's an aftermarket for all this stuff. And so I don't want white media all over my pages. And he was like, you're wrong. And I probably am. But, I want it to look good as just a piece that if you buy this or one of the other pages and, it's going to be big, you put it on your wall, you want to have, white out all over it. And I want to give this like the care and attention that I feel like it deserves. And if it takes longer, then so be it. But as soon as like some of the paying gigs that I have wind down, I will be likely going to more pages per week, because I honestly have a really good feeling about this book. I really think that with my sort of general's view of comics that I have at this point, if you will, that I think people are really going to respond to it well. I mean, it's everything that I want from a comic, so I'm hoping that it's everything that other people want from a comic. So these are you do need to indicate that this is still a flap. It's not, it's fabric. Now for the moan, I think I need to handle this. Well, I was thinking maybe I need to handle this with little bit more of a steady hand than with a brush, especially with these circles. Circles are hard to do with a brush. So do I... He's kind of a square jaw, I think. Do I scrap the brush now and go to a marker? I think I do, because I need that to be a sort of a flat line. All right, so this might get loud for a second as I rinse this off. Everything's falling apart. I need to remember to wash this brush so I don't destroy it after the first go. All right, so let's see. This puppy here. This is the Kuretake extra fine brush pen. And why they call it a brush pen. These are the ones that when I first get them, the line is like so thin and beautiful, and you press and it has give to it. It really acts like a nib. And then after about a page, that super great tip is gone. And that sucks. So I have to, in the past, I had to buy like 50 at a time and just let them, use them until that tip ran out. And then pop open a new one and throw it in a box to be used for whatever later. Super wasteful. Not super proud of it, but it was really the only thing, because I couldn't get nibs to work properly for me. It was one of the few things that tools that felt good for a minute. Now again, they don't make these this particular one anymore, and I can't find it, and that sucks. So I've got like this whole drawer full of ones that work just fine. They're actually like this one right now. They work just fine. It just doesn't have that super great tip that I want. Remind me next time to wear a hat or something when I have it at this angle, so that you're not looking at the my thinning hair. Probably chased a lot of you up. Another funny thing that I found was that I noticed that the 2 episodes that live episodes that I posted that had Linda Carter and her cleavage got like more than twice the views of any of the other ones, like the Ninja Turtle episodes or the Berserk episode or anything like that. So I think from now on it's going to be Linda Carter photoshopped with like the subject's head on top of hers. All right, Moan. We'll go like with dark shadow under here. And then one up on the side here. That one wouldn't have one. And I think that is it for now. I mean, didn't get super far. Got a painting on a flap and some moans. But, you know, this is going to shrink down really nice. And now I just have the whole rest of the page to go. And, you know, I want to get to at least 2 to 3 a week at some point. So I can bust this out. I want this thing out as soon as possible. I got the printer all ready to go. They're bothering me all the time, which is good, I guess. But I keep telling them, you know, it's going to be a while. So, all right, I'm glad that I at least have the first panel going for this. We're moving forward now. So I can go back to promoting the Patreon as a place to be reading Three-Headed Pigman and other things. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for popping in again. Next week, got another commission. It's going to be a Dungeons & Dragons commission. A monster, dealer's choice. That's always fun. Yeah, oh, by the way, the Ninja Turtles one from last week, I still haven't finished it. I haven't had a chance to. So I will probably finish that this week. And then while we're live on here, I'll pop it up on my site in case anybody wants to snag it right away. That's it. So, hey, thanks everybody for popping in. Raymar Brunson, go check out Ghostman. Brandon Hayes, check out his latest book. Let's see here, James Coates. Dino Beasts and Galaxy Gods are out for you to purchase now. And Frank, man, I'm sorry, dude. I don't really, I can't think of what you're up to. But you know, it sounds like you're making. So let's go check out Frank's work too. And next week, same time, same channel. Till then, later, everybody. Goodbye.